Revelations 2. This episode, I think it's called Survival. Um, in my stream earlier, I got disconnected again. I just can't really figure out why I always get disconnected from the internet at times. It just happens. Because I don't think it's the Ethernet cord.
You can eat those insects if you remember to cook through.
I think that's a really great idea. I'm not gonna try.
Then go search for the food you like. Snake, rat, hare. Maybe you find a wild hamburger. Pay attention.
I know! Are you gonna let me shoot them or do you want to complain some more? Man,
I do believe
focus.
this is the right way.
How did Claire hold her gun again?
Yeah, this is the right way. Alright, I already read that note. Toolkit.
Good girl. We can continue on here.
Oh, right. Let me just pull up my good girl petticoats so it doesn't get dirty.
When you are done, head for gate.
Yes, sir.
It's dead now. It's like, could you imagine killing that thing with freaking crowbar? I don't think it, not crowbar, but yeah, this is crowbar. Never mind, I was right. That would be very hard to do. And it'll cost a lot of herbs. Whoa. It's like I barely seen it. Fine. There we go.
We've got what we need. Can we call it a day?
Okay, this should be enough.
Thank God. I can't wait to lie down.
Lie down. We finish early. You help me cut up meat.
Wow! Educational. I thought that was it. I couldn't take another second of getting muscled around by some man who thought he knew better than me. Why don't we find a way off the island, I asked.
Yeah, he said. No point. You need face reality.
His house, his rules. But I wasn't about to give up hope. Not yet. All I kept thinking about was my dad, actually. That night, I had a dream Barry was on his deathbed. He looked really sad. Nobody was with him. Nobody to nag. He had no fire left. When I woke up, I realized I'd been crying.
Alright, before continuing, I'm actually going to read. No, I think I'm going to read the secret files and then end this video. Okay, Stuart's memo, Claire Moira 1. I thought it prudent to keep notes on some of the more promising candidates in this round of experiments. I noticed that subject number 2 and number 6, Claire Redfield and Moira Burton, have been working together since the beginning. My curiosity piqued. I decided to look into these two and found they have a deeper relationship that goes beyond that of just co-workers. It might be fair to say their friendship has its origins in the Raccoon City incident back in 1998. Claire, a university student at the time, was one of the few survivors. Meanwhile, her brother, Chris Redfield, and Moira's father, Barry Burton, were members of the Special Forces Unit, STARS, that was involved in the events leading up to the incident. Following Raccoon City, Chris became one of the founding members of the BSAA, though Barry relocated his family to Canada for safety concerns. He would continue to be an activist against bioterrorism, eventually accepting a position as a BSAA consultant after an invitation from Chris. It was through Chris that Barry and Claire met, and the three became close, with Barry taking on a mentor-like role to the two parentless siblings. Claire and Moira would also become friends, leading to Moira's desire to join TerraSave. That is also what landed her on Neil's candidate list. Meeting Claire was less than fortuitous for the young lady. I find it deliciously ironic. Following the events of Raccoon City, Barry moved his family away to protect them. However, the friends he made during that time would only serve to further put his family in danger. Email from Barry to Chris. I've hacked into the BSAA North American branch's server. I'm keeping a copy of this email for my personal records. Hey Chris, I heard you just got back from Africa. Some crazy shit went down there. Glad to hear you're okay. And better yet, you brought Jill back. When I heard the news, I was so happy. I was so happy I could have done cartwheels down the streets. Not that my knees would allow for that kind of thing anymore. I mean, after all the shit the three of us have been through, you know, we gotta look out for each other. Watch each other's backs, but I don't have to tell you the value of having a good partner now, do I? Well, you just got back, so you need some time to recover. Take it easy, you hear? If I hear you're hitting the gym again, I'm going to come down and kick your ass personally. I know things are going to be a bit crazy for a while for you and Jill, but when you're both settled in, let's all go out for a drink or something. It's been too long. Barry. Stewart's memo, Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is the older brother of candidate number 02, Claire Redfield. He's been at the center of a number of bioterrorist incidents, and more recently is known as the man who killed Albert Wesker. Chris is a member of the Bioterror Security Assessment Alliance, BSAA. He's one of the original 11, a name given to the organization's founding members. In 2009, he and the BSAA were a major part of the suppression efforts to contain the bioterror threat in Kajuju, Africa. Here, he had a confrontation with Albert Wesker, killing him during the engagement. Currently, he's been spending most of his time at the BSAA North American branch, serving as a team leader to mentor new recruits. Stewart's memo, Claire and Moira 2. Follow up on candidates number 2 and number 6, Claire Redfield and Moira Burton. Claire met Moira through her friendship with Moira's father, Barry. Moira looked up to Claire like a big sister, sometimes trusting her more than she did her own father. When Claire joined TerraSafe, Moira was determined to do the same, despite strong opposition from her father, who tried to keep her away from the dangers of bioterrorism. It's clear that Moira has a deep level of trust and respect for Claire. It will be interesting to see how this all plays out during the experiment. Will their friendship be able to survive this ordeal, and how will that affect their responses to the experiment? I'm looking forward to watching it all unfold. Practically how these factors contribute to their emotional responses, and if they will serve as a trigger for fear. Stewart's memo, Barry Burton. I've hacked into the BSAA North American branch's server. I found the profile of candidate number 6's father, named Barry Burton, blood type A, status BSAA North American branch cut, family, wife, 2 daughters, Moira and Polly, residence, Canada. Following the Raccoon City incident in 1998, he relocated with his family to Canada for their safety, fearing any potential retaliatory attack from anyone connected to the Umbrella Corporation. Since then, he's been living out of the spotlight with his family, occasionally participating in anti-bioterrorism activities. He currently works as a consultant for the BSAA, having accepted the positions as an offer from his friends Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine. Alexis' thoughts on Franz Kafka. As I read Kafka's The Metamorphosis, I can't help but feel that it's an autobiography account of the author's life, with Gregor Samsa representing Kafka himself. Kafka worked an ordinary job and lived a very mundane life. Despite this, he wrote fantastic works filled with madness and despair. His writing was his outlet as he toiled away at everyday life. But his family and friends couldn't understand his works, couldn't relate to him. I'm sure he must have felt lonely and isolated from the rest of the world. Kefka would eventually fall ill, spend his final days wasting away in a hospital bed while his body experienced agonizing pain. His mind was tormented by fear, the fear of death, fear of the unknown, and the fear of isolation. It is this fear and the emotion born from it that made Kefka's work so rich, as he could critically examine madness and suffering and make these concepts the driving force behind his work. Very few of Kefka's numerous works were published while he lived, and upon his death he left them to a friend with the instructions to burn them unread. Fortunately, that friend saw the value of Kefka's legacy and preserved them for the future, ignoring Kefka's final request. Even today, Kefka's works continue to enhance us with their vivid depictions of fear. It is that fear that drives us, compels us. Fear is born from human instinct, and it's the basic emotion that keeps us alive. The fear of death, the fear of failure, fear of isolation, loneliness. Fear is the most powerful motivator. Those who control fear control life itself. Though his life came to an abrupt end, Kefka's name lives on through his works on fear and madness. He has attained the greatest power man can hope to achieve, immortality. I too will harness the power of fear and infect this hellish world with it, and in the process I will be resurrected as one who has mastered fear. While Kefka merely lives on through his work, my work will help me to live on. Stuart's memo, Claire Redfield. Out of the candidates in this current round of testing, number 2, Claire Redfield, displays an extraordinary amount of compassion. Among the most notable examples is her saving Sherry Birkin from certain death during the Raccoon City incident. Sherry is the daughter of William Birkin, the scientist who developed the G virus. With Sherry having been infected herself, it would have been easy to simply let the child die. Having become a host for the G virus, Sherry was placed under strict government control. Claire continued to care for her, visiting her frequently, and the two developed a friendship that continues to this day. According to my sources, the protective care that Sherry is under will be ending soon, but I was not able to ascertain the reason why. Another notable example of Claire's compassion is during the Harvard-Deville incident in 2005. Claire took it upon herself to protect a little girl during the attack, even jumping into an area filled with hostiles without a weapon in order to rescue her. Claire is also close with candidate number 6, Moira Burton. Claire is very close to the Burton family, as Claire is an orphan. It seems that Barry has become a father-like figure for her. As such, Claire has developed a sister-like relationship with Barry's 2 daughters, and Moira in particular. Following a certain incident in the Burton household, the relationship between Barry and Moira became strained. As Moira became more rebellious, she often turned to Claire for advice and support. Claire has undoubtedly become a figure of admiration and respect for Moira. With Moira also involved in the experiment, it would be interesting to see how her relationship with Claire develops and what role Claire's compassions will play in her emotional response. I'm particularly looking forward to seeing it all play out. Alexis Memo Spencer. On the verge of my plans coming to fruition, I can't help but reminisce about my past, in particular the foolish old man who made me who I am. I speak, of course, of Lord Oswald E. Spencer. He had it all. He commanded wealth and power at his fingertips, but it wasn't enough for him. No, he wanted more. He felt this world was in ruin, and that mankind was on the path of ultimate destruction. He wanted to create a new world filled with order. This world would have no use for the weak, foolish masses. He wanted to make a race of advanced humans in a perfect utopia, and he would rule over this new world as its god. To those ends, he collected gifted children from all over the world to train their minds and bodies to be the chosen ones for his new world. They were subjected to hellish tests of endurance, and they were injected with a virus to see if they were truly fit to rise above humanity. Sadly, most of them weren't, and so they died one by one until only 2 remained. Albert and myself, the last of the Wesker children. Spencer placed all his hopes on us. He tasked us with the burden of making him a god, and foolishly, compulsively, we scrambled to follow his orders. Eventually, we both realized that we had zero obligation to the decrepit old man. Our loyalty was a ruse, and we continued our duplicitous use of his vast resources. Eventually, with Albert on the verge of completing his own plans, he snuffed out the old skinflint's life with his bare hands, a fitting end. So now, on the verge of my own triumph, I've come to better understand how Albert must have felt, and maybe even the old man as well. After all, I am one of the chosen. I'm the last one. The right to become a god is now mine. Email from Piers to Claire. Dear Claire, on behalf of our unit, I just wanted to say it was real nice to get to see you the other day. Thank you for taking the time to talk with everyone. The guys really appreciated it. I know you were surprised by the men's reaction upon first seeing you. Let me explain. When we heard that TerraSafe would be arriving on location, well, the men knew that you'd be coming, so they got a bit excited over the idea. They'd only heard stories about you, and since you're the captain's sister, well, let's just say they were expecting someone more along the lines of his build. I tried to tell them otherwise, but their imaginations got the best of them. So then when you arrived, well, aside from not being what they expected, we don't get to interact with a lot of pretty women in our line of work. So that's why they had the reaction that they did. Then they had to remember that you're the captain's sister, and it made them all awkward. I'm sorry about that, ma'am. You probably saw it for yourself, but we all have a lot of admiration and respect for the captain. In addition to being a very capable leader, he treats us like family. He's an inspiration to us all. Speaking for the men, we're all looking forward to the chance to work with you again. Our paths may not cross often, and I know you're busy, but it'd be nice to talk every now and then, even through email, just between you and me. If you have any pictures of the captain when he was younger, I sure love to see them. I hear he was very different back then, but he won't show us anything. There's a lot more I'd like to say, but it's time to get ready for our next posting. These missions aren't easy, but it's nice to know we've got allies such as your organization backing us up. Keep fighting the good fight. First Lieutenant Piers Nevins, BSAA North American Branch. Stewart's Memo, the Wesker Project. The Master's plans are on the eve of their completion. Despite having cut ties with her benefactor, she strives to accomplish his goal of a new world order. I find it somewhat ironic that Albert Wesker worked towards the same goal as well. Hard to believe he met his unfortunate end only 2 years ago. His death leaves the Master as the last of the Wesker Project, a project meant to create an advanced breed of humans who would create a new world order. Children were taken from their homes and put through extreme trials in order to forge a new advanced race. All would perish except for 2 specimens, 12 and 13, Alex and Albert Wesker. Albert worked for many years under Spencer's tutelage as a researcher at the Umbrella Corporation. He was successful in creating bioorganic weapons and played a large part in the Mansion incident and the subsequent Raccoon City incident. Albert would continue to develop BOWs and use them in bioterror incidents. The world would come to know the name of Wesker and tremble in fear at it. In 2006, with his own plans coming to fruition, Albert confronted Spencer and killed him, deeming his assistance unnecessary. Through a partnership with Tricell in 2009, Albert successfully developed the Ouroboros virus. As Spencer before him, he planned to use the virus as a method of creating a new breed of human, killing off all who were unworthy in the process. His plans were foiled when he met his unfortunate end at the hands of the BSAA agents Chris Redfield and Sheva Alomar. Though Master Alex is not Albert's bloodkin, the two seem to share a common bond through their experiences and position as the only surviving Wesker children. Master Alex was deeply saddened at the news of Albert's death. Upon learning of Albert's death, Master Alex called for me. We must begin our plans for the transfer ceremony. There is no time to waste. Once Master Alex gains immortality, she will finish what Albert started, of course. This all started with Spencer, who wished to create a new world. Though Spencer's dreams will come true, it is Master Alex who will realize it. Stewart's memo, Natalia Corda. We have finally found the Master's vessel, candidate number 9, Natalia Corda. The small, frail little girl who will be the key to the Master's future. Out of curiosity, I asked Mr. Fisher for more information on her background. Natalia is a survivor of the Terrigeria panic that occurred in 2004. She lost her entire family in the incident. She was rescued by TerraSafe and has lived at one of their facilities ever since. She was carefully questioned by TerraSafe about the incident. There was one answer in particular that was surprising in regards to the ultraviolet radiation that was used to ultimately destroy the city. Natalia described it as pretty. The interviewers were surprised that she could find beauty despite being surrounded by death as her home sank to the bottom of the sea. Mr. Fisher took this response and combined with her own answers concluded that Natalia had overcome the emotion of fear. Having observed her during these trials, I can agree with his assessment. She willingly walks into life-threatening situations and shows no signs of apprehension or fear. I can theorize that what she experienced in Terrigeria gravely traumatized her and robbed her of the ability to feel fear. This little girl is very emotionally strong, which suits the Master's needs. I have concerns, however, that she is too strong. There's no doubt about her suitability to become the Master's new vessel, but with the strength of conviction, would she be able to repress the Master's psyche from overwriting her own, even after the transfer has been completed? But I am just a humble servant. Surely the Master has already taken this into consideration. As of now, all of the Master's plans have proceeded flawlessly. I have no doubt that this plan will also succeed without incident. Email. Hey Barry, how's it going? I hope you're up to your usual wisecracking self. I'm back from Africa. I heard from Chris that after my fight with Wesker, the BSAA listed me officially as KIA and that you took the news pretty hard. I'm sorry to have caused you such grief. I'm alive and none the worse for wear, although I do look a bit different now. Well, you'll see. So how are Kathy and the girls doing? Have you managed to patch things up with Moira yet? Girls in their teens can be a nightmare to deal with. I know because I used to be one. You just have to be patient and understanding. And sometimes you just have to give them their space. I know you want to protect her, but you have to be sure you don't become overbearing. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. I can already hear you saying, yeah, I'm the one with the kids. I'll leave it at that. But I do hope you've managed to smooth things over since you've become a consultant for the BSAA. Well, I don't have to explain the job and its dangers to you, so every minute you can spend with those you love is valuable time. As for me, ever since getting back, I've been locked up in this lab as they run tests on me day in and day out. It's every bit as boring as it sounds. Rehab should be starting soon, so that's something to look forward to. At this point, I take a battlefield full of BOWs overlooking at another test to begin. We should all meet up when I'm back on my feet again. It'll be a blast, Joe. P.S. I heard I didn't even get a funeral, so that means I should be getting one hell of a welcome back party, right, Barry? And that would do it for the secret files. And without further ado, I'll end this video. Sorry that it's actually kind of short. It's just, like I said, I was having a little bit of internet problem, and I say sometime tomorrow I'll try to do another video. I can't say I will because I'm not for sure what's all going to happen tomorrow. So anyways, have a good day or night depending on the time you view this video, and be safe out there, and thank you for watching.